Today, we're going to talk about the slant board and why every trainer needs this. And I'm not selling slant boards right now. I will, but I'm not selling them right now. Before I get started, now there's a lot of viruses going around, the RSV, you got the flu, you got the C word, and our immune systems are suppressed. They just are. I'm not going to say why, but they are. Now, this is why I'm going to tell you, go to tigerfitness.com right now and get Ambrosia Vita. Ambrosia Vita is the #1 viral defense supplement, has all the ingredients you need to fortify your immune system to help fight off these invaders, these nasty viruses, okay, to help prevent that viral replication. Okay, so now you got that. Let's get on. Let's talk about the slant board and how you can use it. Boom! So the slant board. Now, why do I use the slant board? The slant board allows us not only to target the vastus medialis, which is that area between the teardrop of your knee, which helps in knee stability, which I use in addition to anti-valgus movements, working the hips, the abductors, the adductors, for athletes to stay whole, to not get injured, to not tear your ACL. Every year, my daughter's soccer team for high school, every year they lose 20% of their athletes due to ACL tears, non-contact ACL tears. And my duty in life is to prevent kids from getting injured. So how does that apply to adults? I know a lot of you watching this do not coach kids. A lot of you watching this just coach adults. Now, what is a slant board? Real quick. It's a board that's slanted. It covers your whole foot. So it holds you from your heel to your toe. Now, you cannot replicate this with putting 2 5-pound plates under your heels. You have that gap between your toe and your heel. It's unstable and the angle isn't as extreme. If you got more extreme, that part where your foot's not touching, it becomes very dangerous. It's a delicate area, not a fan, and you can fall over and break your butt. Don't want you to break your butt. So training youth athletes as my core competency has really helped me in becoming a better trainer for adults. When you're training youth athletes, I don't want to take an 8-year-old kid who's never squatted before and put 135 pounds on his back. Not going to happen. So what we do then is do regressions. Well, what's a regression of a squat? Well, a plank, right? You're working your core, a goblet squat, an air squat, a slant board squat. So your slant board squat, when you have someone who isn't as mobile, who has been detrained for a long period of time, they will not be able to dump into a big squat. For example, let me show you this video of my client, Frank. I do coach some people in person. Frank is basically the one I will coach till the day I die. His friggin' progress has been astounding in just a few weeks. His weight loss and his muscle gain, his power and strength went from a guy who could barely stand with great posture to a guy who's deadlifting 300 pounds for reps to a guy who's squatting what you see in this video. Now, for Frank, he's a guy who used to be a good athlete in high school and college, and then life got a hold of him. He owns multiple restaurants. He's crushing life, but he neglected his health and his strength training. So that's where we started. We started from ground one like he was an 8-year-old kid. So the problem is, a lot of people think if you can't squat in flat-soled shoes like Converse that you're a weak human being. No, you're just an immobile human being. That comes down to ankle mobility, calf mobility, hip mobility, a lot of different things, which is something we're working on. Frank's main goal is to be able to squat like a normal human being with weight on his back, down, ass to the ground, okay, without any issues with his mobility, with his posture, but we're not there yet. So what am I going to do? Am I going to sit back and just have the guy do leg press and stretching for the next friggin' 5 months? No, it's going to take months for us to correct those issues, those deficiencies. So in the meantime, what we're going to do is we are going to load him with a slant board. Now, being that he cannot go past 90 degrees without a slant board doesn't mean I'm going to have him do half squats and quarter squats. I'm going to put him on a slant board. He can squat down, butt touching his feet, and he's going to come back up, full range of motion, strengthening his aging knees and getting him in a position where we get stronger. We're able to overload, which increases hypertrophy, which increases all his muscle gains, increases posterior strength. He's going to be a better human being. So when his kid goes from being a little kid to 15, 16, he go outside and throw the football with him. He coached sports. That is what we do. That is what I do. Look, man, I'm not here to train, and I do train a few IFBB Pro hopefuls. I do train a few, I train a lot of people. But here's the deal. If I'm training someone in the general population who just wants to crush life, I'm interested in making you a better, more functional, and healthier human being. The slant board allows us to overload the quads, the hips, everything, to overload it safely without having those deficiencies come into play. So then I can load you, and then we'll do corrective movements. Then we'll do non-slant board stuff. Then we'll do some split squats. Then we'll do some stretching, some foam rolling to get that loosened up. But my main goal is to get results while we're fixing that. What am I going to do? Take 2 to 4 months and work on his mobility? Or am I going to take 2 to 4 months, work on his strength, and work on his mobility at the same time? The slant board affords us a way to do that nothing else ever has. Like I said in a previous video, 3 things I always have in my toolbox that I always carry with me in my car. One is a good set of mini bands. Another one is a good set of mini hurdles, because kids and adult athletes need to work on linear and lateral hopping, to work on acceleration and deceleration. It's one of the best tools we have. The third thing is a slant board. If you don't have a slant board and you are a trainer, you are shortchanging your clients. I believe that 120%. And for full disclosure, I own a company called Vorlo Fulfillment. We do 3PL for multiple companies. We ship out tens of thousands of orders a day. Okay, Slant Board Guy is one of our customers. I do have a vested interest in how many slant boards are sold. Okay, at least in the USA. We handle all domestic fulfillment for Slant Board Guy. We will be carrying slant boards in the next couple weeks at Tiger Fitness. We do not right now at the airing of this film, but I will change the link down below to Tiger Fitness when we do get them in stock. Okay, full disclosure. But even before that, I was one who had terrible mobility in my ankles, in my calves, and I worked on that. But while I was working on getting that mobility, I did a version of the slant board. Now, it wasn't Slant Board Guy stuff. It was a wooden makeshift slant board that most gyms had. I think a lot of them built them themselves. I'll tell you what, I could just build my own. I can't. I'd rather spend $150 for one of these than build one. You want to know why? If I built a slant board, it would break and you would break your butt. You would die. I am not going to trust myself to build something to be able to sustain a 315-pound squat. Not going to do it. Why? Because I'm a trainer. I'm not a construction worker. I'm not a carpenter. I don't know how to build anything. So if you think you can replicate and build your own homemade one, hey, have at it. For me, I'm going to buy one. Why? Because I don't build stuff, nor do I trust my ability to build things as well as Slant Board Guy does, because he's the best at what he does, period. The end. I've tried other boards. They don't even come close. Even if I did not have a vested interest, if you're on my Instagram, I've done Instagram videos about slant boards since before I even knew this damn guy. Since before I knew him. And then Marc Bell had it at his gym and I used it. I'm like, I need these. Got in contact with Slant Board Guy, has some customized ones made for me. And again, like, this is something I love. We currently have 6 of them at Legacy at Carbon. That's legacyatcarbon.com. We train youth athletes. But I'm going to have 18 in my new facility. I'm going to have 18 of them because we have 8 squat racks, and I want to make sure I have 2 for squat racks and a couple for the middle of the thing. Everybody needs a slant board. Everybody needs a slant board. If you are a trainer without a slant board, you are shortchanging your clients. Bottom line, what can you do with a slant board? Split squats with the toe facing down, phenomenal movement. Anytime you track over your toes, it's a thing, because in sports, you're always tracking over your toes. Always. Again, there's so many things to do. So that is why. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have a slant board? If you don't, why not? And again, putting plates under your feet, can't say the R word. That's ridiculous. It's just not the same. And this is someone who's put plates under his feet in the past. Okay, totally different angle, total lack of support. Bottom line is, I want you to look at that squat of Frank. And remember, rewind this video, go back to the beginning. There's a guy who can't do a full range of motion squat with his heels on the ground. Nothing but benefits. Let me know your thoughts. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, click the notification bell, and remember, that's not a game.
training intensity is everything. If you want to build muscle, if you want to get better, if you want to go hard, you need to train intense. A lot of pre-workouts, they get you intense. But then what happens? You crash. A lot of pre-workouts, they give you the pump, but then what happens? It wears off. A lot of pre-workouts, they'll give you all that stuff, but it doesn't add to your endurance. I want to be able to lift heavy. I want to be able to feel the pump. I want veins bulging from every single part of my body. I want to lift heavier weights every single time. I want to run farther. I want to run faster. I want to push harder, and I want to get bigger, stronger, and faster. And that's why I created Clash 3D. This pre-workout is next level, featuring 3D pump, Vasodrive AP, and a lot of other epic ingredients. Guys, this is the pre-workout that you need to take your workouts and your performance and your physique to the next level. Oh.